Today's Evening First Alert Weather Show is brought to you by Bresky Siding.
And a good Wednesday evening, Mid-Michigan. Forgot my day for a second, was distracted, had to turn the volume on our TV in front of us off, so had a little bit of a blank there, but happy Wednesday evening. Much better evening than what we were gifted last night with some of that snow, but that has now moved out. And the main topic, one of a couple probably, the main topic of tonight's stream is the potential for not only a warm Friday, but potentially some above average temperatures going into the longer term. This is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook going from March 5th through March 11th. So this takes us pretty much towards the middle and end of next week, right into the middle of the following week. So this takes us pretty much 2 weeks from now. And pretty strong lean to above average temperatures during that time. Now we'll have a few bumps along the way. We'll have a couple of colder days kind of mixed in there. It seems like tomorrow will still be around those 20s and 30s, and then it seems like as we go into Friday, we'll get one brief warm day, a couple of 20s and 30s going into the weekend and early next week, and then we'll start our climb back to the 40s by about Wednesday of next week. And then once we get into the longer term, I think there's potential to be even warmer than that. So before we talk temperatures really quick, just want to give you a sense of what is going on tonight. Still have some snow showers and flurries around the lower peninsula this evening. Seems like they're winding down. Do you have an area of high pressure moving in? So that is going to cause sinking air. You're putting pressure on something, you're holding it down, and so the air doesn't try to rise quite as much. So we won't have big towering clouds developing for tonight, giving us any healthy snow showers or anything like that. So I do think flurries will kind of remain possible the next couple of days, mainly tomorrow. But it doesn't seem like anything that's going to be any worse than what we dealt with today. And certainly don't think it's going to be anything that accumulates in a significant way either. Last night we had a quick accumulation, didn't really add up to much more than I think the worst that I heard was a couple of inches of snow around the area. And some of that included what fell this morning. Mostly just a road issue late last night. Didn't have a single school closing this morning, which is good in a way, and probably a little bad for the students and staff who were hoping for a day off. We didn't really get lucky on that end of things. So good evening, Stacy. Good evening, Sherry, Linda, Sherry, saying hi to Sherry twice. Just looking at the comments pretty quickly here tonight. Also want to bring your attention to the potential of our next round of snow this weekend. This one shouldn't be a big deal either. At least that's the way it's looking right now. It would probably require a big change in the next couple of days for this to turn into something more. But we do have the potential for some light snow to move in on Saturday. Seems like this is mostly a second half of the day kind of deal. Seems like it starts moving in Saturday evening. I think the best chance is from roughly about Saginaw off to the south. I do think there's a chance we could kind of have the northern fringe up here, but if you're in a place like Houghton Lake, I would say Ogemaw County, Iosco County, Roscommon, those areas I don't think have quite as big of a chance to see any of that snow this weekend. Pretty much just pay attention to where some of these darker shades of this bluish purple color are. I think those are the areas that probably are most likely to get some snow on Saturday evening. Then it moves out pretty quick and it's over by Sunday morning. So haven't really dove deep on the totals yet, just because we're still in that time frame where it's a little bit too far away to feel good about it. But I would say it's seeming more favorable for like an inch or less type snowfall. But we'll obviously have more information on that as we get into the coming days. Lows tonight will be pretty chilly. We're down in the teens. Average is right around 20, so it'll be a little bit cooler than that. And then tomorrow, before we get to that warm up on Friday, seems like we'll be closer to about the lower and middle 30s on Thursday. Average is around 35, so we'll be below that. But then here is something that might give you at least a little bit of happiness towards the end of the week. We've got a temperature that is likely going to be in the mid-40s to around 50 on Friday. And it seems like we'll have some sunshine to go with that. So a pretty nice finish to the work week, or for those of you who might be retired and you have the whole day off anyway, it might be a good day to get outside and find some way to enjoy that. I think a lot of the snowpack that we picked up on Tuesday night has the potential to be gone by the end of Friday. Really wasn't much to begin with, but I think a lot of that could melt even with temperatures kind of around freezing tomorrow. If we get some sunshine, I think we can melt a lot of it even on Thursday, and what's kind of left of it, of course, is going to go away on Friday, especially if we can get some temperatures and sunshine in the upper 40s to low 50s. So to talk about what is on the way for next week, here is the 7-day, but I'll also show you kind of what our models are doing in the longer term. I'll show you a couple charts that we can take a look and why there's a little bit of confidence in that. But if we take a look towards next week, there's the day that's in the 30s tomorrow, like we talked about. I think some 40s and 50s on Friday. Chance to be in the upper 30s Tuesday, after some 20s on Monday, and then 40s early next week by Wednesday, towards the middle of the week. So we're kind of making progress there, and then we stair step a little bit towards the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday time frame, where we go from the low 40s towards the middle and upper 40s. And if we take a look at the tools that we use for long term here, some of the weather models that we look at. Now, I'll pull this up on our computer and have to talk you through it because I'm going to disappear from the screen here. But this is our projections for MBS Airport here in Saginaw. I just tried to pick a centralized location. But if you look towards the middle and end of next week, this is an ensemble, so it takes a lot of different factors into account, and it tries to sort out some of the more kind of outlandish solutions, because I can tell you that the actual raw model data itself, raw means there's no human intervention, there's no, there's no context to it, it just spits out numbers. Some of those temperatures are warmer than what you're seeing here, but what this is showing towards the end of next week is a potential to be close to 50 again by next Friday, maybe towards 50 into Saturday, and maybe even the middle to upper half of the 50s towards Sunday and Monday. Now, a lot of the times we can't look at just one model and feel pretty good about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this was the European model. And if I pull up the American model, it's really not much different. There are some minor changes, but if you look, it's still near 50 Friday and Saturday of next weekend. And then it's maybe not quite as warm as the European model, but it's still picking up on the same thing, still picking up on some temperatures that are in the 50s next week. And then even if we pull up the Canadian model, that's fairly similar too. Near 40 by the end of next week, 50s possible going into the late weekend and also early next week. But you'll also notice that it's not permanent. We do have a drop off, and the same is true in the American model. And let me pull up the European model again. The same is true in the European model. We drop off. So this isn't to say that we warm up and we're just there permanently through the rest of March. I think you know that. You know better than that if you've lived in Michigan long enough. But it does show you that winter is kind of losing its grip. It's not quite as consistent as it has been. Our Great Lakes ice analysis, let me see if I can pull that up. We're down to about 36.9% on the Great Lakes. The ice thickness is starting to lose a little bit as well. I know there are still reportedly some people that have gone out in recent days that are still finding some spots here or there. I heard the ice was still good in places, but obviously more caution is needed after we have been much warmer lately. So these are just kind of some things that we're watching going into the next few weeks here. It's not the most exciting live stream for tonight, just because we have quieted down with the snow, and we still have to wait a couple of days for the warmer temperatures. But for those of you hoping for a little bit of warmth, it seems like we're kind of moving in the right direction. So I'll answer any questions that you might have. Feel free to ask, but I don't have much for you tonight. I will tell you that there is a possibility we do not have a live stream tomorrow night. The reason for that is just we do have a software update to do, and those software updates on our computer systems here can take quite a bit of time, and we do have to take advantage when the weather is quiet. So if you do not see a live stream tomorrow night, we will be back on Friday, assuming that the computers don't blow up while we're doing that update. We will be back Friday. Chilly start tomorrow morning. That's also something noteworthy that I'd like you to know. But otherwise, that is the live stream for tonight, and we'll get ready for our 10 o'clock newscast here coming up in just a bit. So thanks to everyone for joining as you typically do. We appreciate you, and we will see you, if not tomorrow, we will see you on Friday, and we'll get you ready as we head into the weekends. Until then, have a safe night, have a wonderful night, and we will see you on Friday.